All right, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Monday Night Client Support Call. My name is Dominic Bizzurdo, and I'm a Integrated Regional Director with Optavia, and I've been coaching for about 3.5 years, and client support has become my baby, and it's been something that really is important to me and important to our clients, and really I think it's a big reason that we all became health coaches in the beginning is because of the support that we were given. So today, what I want to talk about is going to be a subject that I kind of hold it close to my heart because I think the lines can get kind of blurred from what we have to do and as coaches and what we should be doing and what we want to do and how we want to build businesses and how we want to help people. So I think there can be kind of a fuzzy area, kind of a blurred area where frustration can lie on both parts, and our part as coaches and growing, and also for our clients and hitting their goals. So I'm going to talk about what's the letter of the law versus the spirit of the law, okay? So who can give me an example? I'm going to stop sharing right now, go back to the group, and who could give me an example of what we would say letter of the law versus the spirit of the law? Okay, go ahead. Yesenia.
All right, so when you said that, it actually reminded me of something that I was studying this week anyways, but I guess like the letter of the law would be like the law, like whatever it is that you're doing exactly how it says you're supposed to do it.
Mm-hmm.
The spirit is the intention, like what exactly are you supposed to do? Which way are you supposed to do something? Not just the way that it's written out or spelled out for you, but exactly like what's intended out of that.
Right. No, I love it. It's kind of like how they've put in those Good Samaritan laws, right? Somebody gets into an accident and a Good Samaritan rushes over to help the individual and gives them CPR or something like that. And then all of a sudden in the past, people were suing somebody because, oh, they cracked my ribs or whatever. It's like, hey, they saved your life. They were trying to do a good thing, you know? And then they were getting in trouble. So it was something like that. And if it was just held to the letter of the law, they would have been like, oh, you broke my ribs. But the spirit of the law was like, yeah, but they saved your life doing that, you know? So letter of the law versus the spirit of the law, right? So I want you to think about it. Think about on this call, who has been coaching for maybe 6 months or less right now? Can you raise your hand? Okay. So there's a few of you out there that have been coaching for 6 months or less, right? So there's a lot going on. You're excited. You're helping these new clients. You want to grow a business. You want them to be successful. You want to connect with your mentorship. There's a lot. They're saying get them on celebration calls. Do all these things, right? Because there's a system, right? So I'm going to go back in and share my screen again. So we talk about the system. So we're going to talk about the system versus actually serving a client, actually helping them on their journey, okay? So letter of the law versus the spirit of the law. The spirit and the letter of the law. A person who follows the spirit of the law has found its actual intent. Like Yesenia mentioned, found its actual intent, while the one who is tied to the letter of the law has missed its true meaning, okay? So how this relates to health coaching, I want to get into and support. So the system versus actually serving. So if we're going letter of the law and we're doing everything that we need to in client support, because we've heard all these calls are meant to be here for you to learn how to better support people. But it can be very challenging and frustrating when you want to support somebody and they may not want to go all the way and they're kind of doing the program and you're like, they're cheating, or, you know, I want it more than they want it. You know, they should be getting on this call, because there's a lot when it comes to client support, and there's a lot that we try to help our clients with. And I'm going to go and I'm going to put some of them up right here, and we can kind of see what the systems are to be helping our clients. So we send them a welcome email. We introduce them to Facebook client support groups. There's the night before calls that we want to get them on to help kick off their program on a good foot, make sure they're doing well. There's the daily support text that we want to send to them. on the first 8 days, we want to send them to them. Come on, go out there. Sorry, guys. Little interruption. Go on the other one. Yeah, go to the other one. Okay. So there's daily support texts. There's the week 1 nightly check-ins for the first 4 or 5 days to coach them into the fat burn. What else? Weekly weigh-ins, twice a week. There's celebration Zooms, month 1 celebration calls, transition celebration Zooms that we want to put them on, struggling client Zooms, and then we ask them client support. So there's all of this set up in the system for client support, right? And we know that by doing these things, it will help not only build a relationship with our client, because we know this is a great way because of the constant touch points that we have. So that's going to provide them support, is building the relationship, but also helps integrate them into our community, right? So we know that individuals are going to be successful, more successful, if they're participating in some of these, right? So if they're building that relationship and they're meeting other coaches and they're meeting other people, hearing other stories from clients on these calls, they're checking out their emails, we know that they're going to be more successful on our program, right? It's just bound to happen because they're going to be, that relationship is going to be strong. They're going to be integrated in that community. And we know that from this, what should start coming from this? There should start being other people around them that want to get healthy too. So there should be referrals, and a micro community should be getting created, right? And there should also be possibly some of your clients that want to join the community and become health coaches and serve others, right? So that's the system. That's the client support system to help that integration. But now I'm going to stop sharing this right now, and I want to ask you guys something. So I want to ask you guys, who here sees that system, wants to help their clients, but at the same time, maybe their business isn't where it needs to be or where they want it to be? Raise your hand if that's the case, or blink your eyes. You don't have to do that, but blink your eyes, because sometimes there's a level, because it's happened to me, and it still happens to me. There's frustration there when it's like, man, I know that this client will be more successful if they're in the client support group, but they don't want to get on Facebook. Or I know that they can be an awesome coach, but they don't want to get on a celebration call. Or they go to get on a celebration call and schedules aren't matching up, whether it's your mentors or somebody in your mentorship team, or your schedule or their schedule. You just can't get them together, and it can get a little frustrating. I mean, raise your hands if that's ever happened to anybody, right? And what's crazy is that we know that this gift that we have in our hands is something to offer. We just want to share it with them, and we just know that this will help them become more successful. But in actuality, it can actually be hurting them and yourself if we're looking at it as sticking to the letter of the law, okay? If we're sticking to it, no ifs, ands, or buts, I mean, think about it. How many times have we tried to shove like a square peg into that circle shape, right? It just ain't, it's not going to fit, right? But we have to be okay, because we have to come back to and support. It's not about you. It's about our clients, okay? Meeting them where they want to meet, okay? This is kind of their journey as we go through this. Reason I talk about this, or I bring this up, I mean, it's been something that's kind of been weighing on me lately. So I wanted to bring the topic forward because I was figuring if I'm experiencing it, other people have to be experiencing the same thing. Other coaches, I mean, I've been doing this for 3.5 years, not 6 months, and we still experience it from time to time. So knowing that, how do we do this? How do we get a client to go from point A to point B through the system, and eventually maybe be integrated into our community, to want to come on board and to want to help other people around them, because we know what it's done for us. How do we get that over to them? Okay, so I'm going to share the screen again. Sorry, I'm going back and forth, but I'm going to share it again. And I wanted to bring this up to you. It is, hold on, let me go through all these, sorry. So serving, what does serving our clients really mean? It's just the loving on them and giving them the support that they need. It's meeting them where they are at, okay? That can be some of the biggest support that you give somebody, is meeting them, because we just need to give them whatever they need to be successful when they need it. So we look at the things in the list that are mentioned above, right? We're looking at all these things, and say it's the week 1 is coming up, and we're having difficulties between days 7 and 10 getting them on a celebration call. So what? Celebrate them anyways, just in the regular conversations that you're having with them, you know? Time will work itself out. This should be an organic process of helping these individuals get to where they want to go. And if they want to come and where they want to go is to join us and start helping other people, that is awesome. So this system here, I talk about the letter of the law, isn't meant to cram this onto somebody, okay? If for whatever reason they're not responding to your text, don't beat yourself up. If they only will check in with you and they don't want to get on another call, they don't want to get on a celebration call, that's fine. It's their journey. What you have to realize is that this system is here to eventually, I mean, it's there to help them, and we know that this is good, but if they don't see it, they're not seeing it. We just have to make it available to them. So we just have to know and take them through as much as we can these steps, and bring them up, recommend that they get on a call, maybe posture some of these Zooms and some of these calls earlier on so they know to expect them. So like for instance, we talk about the celebration Zoomer call, the week 1. How many of us bring it up maybe at the end of the first week? They give us their weigh-in. Oh, great, you lost 7 to 10 pounds. Let's get on a call. Let's get on a Zoom. They're like, what? What's going on? What are you talking about? I got to tell other people about this? What do you mean? Instead of maybe posturing it the night before, they actually start the program and saying, hey, you know what's going to happen? First week, you're going to have a killer weigh-in. You're probably going to lose about 7 to 10 pounds doing this. I know it just based on prior experience of watching people go through this, and let's celebrate. So let's set up a time. Let's get on a call. I want to introduce you to my mentorship team too. So that way, if you have any questions that maybe in the first week I didn't answer, we're ready to go and we can help you continue to move forward. So maybe posturing it a little bit earlier would be a better way than just popping it later on, okay? But for some of these other calls too, transition, oh man, they didn't want to get on a transition celebration call to hear more about it or whatnot. Or, hey, I didn't bring up coaching to that. Well, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. It's their journey. We just have to continue exposing them to it, because if you feel like you're pressured and you're trying to get them onto these calls and you're trying to get them onto these Zooms and they're kind of backing away, we have to be able to pick up on some of those interpersonal communication that they're giving, some of the signs that they're giving to us, okay? So we need to watch those, because you could be doing them a disservice and not giving them the support that they need, because we're trying to put them through step by step by step by step. Oh, we didn't do this, we didn't do that. And then now you're frustrated. You're getting frustrated with them because they've canceled for the 3rd time on their celebration call. And you know that, hey, they would be perfect. Or, hey, they mentioned coaching and now it's the 4th time that they've canceled because they get called into work or something in their personal life has happened. It's okay. Life happens. This is meant to help you get through to our clients, to help integrate them, help them on their journey. And if they pick up on it, they see the vision, they will come and want to join you, and they will want to help those individuals around them. They'll want to help serve others. Okay? So whatever they need to be successful when they need it is when we give it to them. And along the way, building a strong relationship with your client, no matter what, will trump all of this. Relationship building will allow the system to play out. This book right here, I don't know if you've seen it, Speed of Trust by Stephen Covey. Speed of Trust, think about this now. The relationships will allow the system to play out. if you have a strong relationship, that means you should have high trust, right? You have high trust. Hey, they'll respond to your text. They'll get on the check-ins. They'll go through celebration calls, transition, because they have the relationship, they have the trust with you as an individual, and make it just go seamlessly through the system. Boom, and it'll happen. And chances are, if they're loving it, they're going to want to join you. Okay, they're going to want to share this with others and be a part of this great community. But think about now, it says it's speed of trust now, because if trust is low, it's going to be like pulling teeth to get them through this process. So if the trust isn't there, it's just going to slow down your process. It's going to slow down the system. So our job as health coaches is to just be there for them when they need it, how they need it, build a strong relationship with them. And these steps, these client support system steps, they should be secondary to helping them, okay? This is the system that they want to go through, but if you take out relationship, you take out trust, you'll never, ever reach any of these steps or milestones with a client. You'll never get them there because they'll feel like you're trying to get something from them. When we know that what we're offering them is something great, but they'll feel like something isn't right here. So think about that. Think about the relationships you have with your clients, and that comes first, helping them get what they want. So you've probably heard Jamil in the past, say, I think it's Zig Ziglar's quote, the more people help get what they want, you'll eventually get what you want. So think about that. Think about the letter of the law versus the spirit of the law, or we should say the letter of our system versus the spirit of our system in serving our clients. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. We still have maybe 8 to 10 minutes for questions. If anybody has any thoughts on kind of just what I spoke about right now, or if they have comments, questions, please feel free. Go ahead and unmute yourself, and let's have a chat for the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, Dominic. I have a client in particular who he's been very difficult to get on the phone. He'll respond via text, but every time that he's, I guess, kind of committed to coming to an event or even a call, celebration, anything that has to do with Zoom, or even now phone call, he won't get on anything. Mm-hmm. And so I finally asked him, do you get a little bit of anxiety when it comes to talking on the phone or doing a video call? And he said, yeah, in all honesty, I do. And I've been having a really hard time with it, especially lately. And he goes, so I apologize. And I just told him, I said, well, you can be completely transparent with me with anything that you might need to talk about. I'm here as a friend too. So I think we sometimes have to realize, like you said earlier, it has nothing to do with us, and not take things so personally, and kind of just try to get inside that person's head for a minute and try and, find another reason why they might possibly be kind of dodging us a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I hope that's helpful, because that, it helped me feel it. I realized it wasn't me. So
yeah, no, that's definitely helpful, because this individual is experiencing something completely that's out of your control, right? Their anxiety issues that they're having with the Zoom and meeting other people, that's nothing to do with you, and it has everything to do with them. And they're probably happy that you're giving them the support that they need right now, and the understanding. So everything else that's in the system, and I would still invite them, right? You still want them to be part of the community, because we know it's great, but we have to know it's okay if they're not there. And we can even tell them that, hey, no worries, I completely understand. When you're ready, I'd love for you to meet some other people in this community. I think it would really help you on your journey.
Does anyone else have suggestions on what might help make him more comfortable? It's kind of hard. No one. They're like,
how about you have different videos. Go ahead.
May I? About being more comfortable?
Yes.
You have to remember too, there are some people who just aren't tech savvy. They're on Facebook, but they don't have a clue. So trying to get them more comfortable, it may not happen. And you said it best, Dominic, when you said serve them where they are.
Mhm.
because that person may never get on a Zoom with you.
Mhm.
But maybe that person, how about this, might want to sit down someplace and have an on-plan meal somewhere or a cup of coffee and talk about these things. And that environment would be better for them. And you could still bring your mentor in, your mentor team, and have coffee with all of them and sit and talk. And there's that community that you're talking about. But now you're outside of that, that whole world where we're interacting like this and they're going, what's going on here? So there's something.
No, I love that. That's really good. Thank you so much for sharing that. No, I love that, getting outside to them. I was thinking like another idea might be if there's a video that you have in Simple Systems, maybe go through Simple Systems and say, hey, here's a good support video, and you could text it to them. Text them the video. They don't have to be that savvy. They just have to click on a link, and hopefully it opens up to them. And now they can kind of see more about the support, or they can kind of see more about our community. So maybe something like that, and then they may come back to you later, like, hey, I do want to meet more people. I do want to get more involved.
Okay. Yeah, I have invited him to different dinners and events, and he says he's coming and he doesn't show up. So I'll keep trying as far as like soft touch and maybe sending like a text message video type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Might help. So.
Yeah, I know, Rebecca. Do you have something that you want to talk about? Rebecca Becking.
Hey, I'm like really sick, so sometimes I just make a little video and send it to them. So it's my personal face to either invite them to something. So and I didn't see what his name was. Last name Madden. He might even want something a little smaller, so not even like the whole group dinner, but just something more one-on-one, or just a few people, or maybe like an acquaintance that he knows that he can bring, and just something kind of smaller. But I like making videos and sending them to my clients.
Good. Love it. All right. Anybody else have anything that they want to share or on this?
I do.
Yes.
I have a question here because I have a client that I'm going to talk to here in a few minutes.
Sure.
And she's been a client, her and her husband both, for about, I want to say 6 weeks. And, I know they're not 100% following plan because they've had a lot of outings. He just went out of the country. He's a missionary. And, before that, they had their anniversary week and the birthday week, and the son is visiting, so I could tell that they were probably doing a lot of things that weren't on plan.
Okay.
But whenever I try to, reach out and do my calls and stuff, I always get the same response. And, it's like, I don't need to talk. We know what we're supposed to be doing. And we'll get back on it. And I'm, like I said, her husband just went out of the country, so I've got her I'm about to get on the phone with alone.
Yeah.
And I don't want her to feel like I'm trying to corner her or into talking to me. I need to know what I can say to her to help her open up and be more comfortable and know that I'm not judging her, and I'm just here to help.
Okay.
Help.
Who wants to help Ivy out? All right, Ivy. I'll ask you a question, Ivy. When you were on plan, are you on plan, or are you currently on plan? Tell me a little bit about it.
I'm still on plan. I started in January.
Okay.
And I became a coach in May.
Okay.
And at first it was just a few clients on accident. There were people that work with me that saw what I was doing and wanted to do it with me. And then I came back from convention, and some people really noticed, because by then I had dropped, 60 pounds or so.
Wow. Congrats.
And they just, started coming out of the woodwork. And now I'm still learning how to be a coach. And most people are really easy, you know, they're happy for the help. And then, you know, this couple is just, I don't know if they're just doing it because their best friends couples are doing it.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, they really, you know, whenever I spoke with them, they were really sincere in wanting to do this. But I felt a little rushed whenever we were
Right.
trying to do the why.
Okay.
And, you know, they wanted to do it together as a couple too. So, I don't, you know, I just,
So let me
like I
ask.
said, she's hard to corner here. Oh.
Let me ask you. When you're doing the program, have you been rock solid 100% the entire way?
Probably about 95. I've
95.
been
Oh, so
so
you've hit it hard.
I did, at least I hit it hard. You know, at least the first 6 months. I've had, you know, a few not so great times, but I never fell far from the program. I've always made some good choices if I went off plan.
Good. Okay. So that's where I would kind of explore. So you said when you went off program, you made some good choices. So I would talk to them. Hey, you know, I've seen that you've been going lots of places. Tell me a little bit about that. So tell me, has it helped what you've learned when you've gone to some of these places? You know, or ask them, have they, did they bring some of their meal replacements with them, or did the healthy habits that they've been taught, did they utilize them? Did they learn them? And then you can kind of see what they say, right? See where they're at. And then just really, I mean, you can try. I know you said you've been rushed with their why, but really they have to be connecting to their why. They have to know kind of why they're doing it. I would say yourself going through the program too. I wasn't always perfect either. Going through it, I know I wasn't always perfect, and so we're all still learning, and we're all part of that community. But I just want to make sure that I'm giving you the help that you need. You know, so if I am, that's great. I just want to see you reach your goal and ask them, is that still important to them, that goal that they had mentioned to you? And if so,
and I know, you know, they've only been married a year, and this is like, you know, she was always really thin, and she just put on a little bit of weight during this first year of their marriage. And they're an older couple than, you know, the typical newlyweds are. So,
So I would just ask them about, you know, some of the things that they've learned and the habits, and see if they've been able to utilize them, see if they're liking them. And, you know, this is going to be their journey. So honestly, if they're doing it halfway, I mean, hey, if they're doing it halfway, it's something that we're not going to be there to like slap them on the hand, like, what are you doing? You know, but, you know, we're going to be there and just let them know, like, is there anything that I can do to maybe help you along the way further, to help you reach some of those things that we spoke about? I know they had given you a little bit of their why. I mean, just maybe circle back around and talk about that a little. Hey, I know that was important to you, but a lot of it's going to depend on their answers, because who knows, maybe they have been making some better choices. Maybe they've been off plan, but the choices have been healthier. And if the choices have been healthier, we have to celebrate that as a win for them. Like, hey, well, imagine where you would have been before if you didn't learn some of these choices, you know, and just kind of bring that up to them, because we're just there as a help, as a support, as a guide, not to, like you said, that like get on top of them, they're getting in trouble or stuff like that. I mean, so we're just there to kind of hold their hand along the way. And so I would just kind of touch on that and see where the conversation goes.
Okay. All right. Wish me luck.
Good stuff. Anybody else have any other questions before we wrap this up? All right, if you have any questions, hop off of mute, because I don't see anybody doing it. Let me see if I can get the gallery. Anybody? All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. I appreciate you guys all for being on. If anything, feel free to message me either later on today or in the event or in 0 to 5, and I'd be happy to go over some topics that you may want to hear. But thank you again, and I will see you next Monday. All right, guys.